Hari Om everyone. If you can see and hear me, please raise your hand. Okay, great. Can you lower all the hands, please? Okay, I guess we can start with our invocation then. Okay. वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा येनाक्षरसमाम्नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः अज्ञानान्धस्य लोकस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै पाणिनये नमः. Good morning, everyone. And to those of you tuning in from elsewhere in the world, good afternoon, good evening. And for those of you tuning in on relay or just watching this YouTube video, good whatever time it is to you. I hope everybody watches it at a time when they're awake and attentive. Today we have quite a lot to cover also. So my pranams to my first guru ever in my life, to my mother. And sometimes, you know, I reflect on the teachers I've had in my life. And if it wasn't for the initial samskaras that I got, the initial, you know, teachings and the initial sort of push in the right direction that I got from my mom, then I wouldn't have gone anywhere. I wouldn't have been able to do anything. And this guru has stayed with me for my whole life, so that's quite lucky so far. And she was there at the beginning of all of my learnings. And sometimes when we reflect on the lives of our parents, you know, like I just, as I reflect on it, I realize that, you know, she was a full-fledged businesswoman and, you know, doing everything and very much involved in her work, her career, her own life. You know, everybody has their own life. But then, you know, moving to America and me being born, my brother being born, that life transformed into a life of total sacrifice for us. That whatever her particular desires and ambitions and goals, everything was kind of set aside so that the kids could be whatever they wanted to be. And this cycle goes on and on and on and on and on. And the amount of when we think about our parents, then it's very hard to imagine many times the kind of sacrifices that they have been through to allow us to be who we are, because we have only ever known them in the role of my parent, which means they have particular responsibilities, roles that I've always seen, and therefore that's just who they are, how they are. But many times we don't imagine them as normal people, who are doing things in the world just like we are doing things in the world right now. And as people who have been through life in the way we are going through life, but then happen to have us, and then we changed their life to make it, so that their life started revolving around us. And so many times when I reflect on that, then it brings tears to my eyes, the kind of sacrifice that this first guru had made in order for me to be who I am. And so my eternal pranams go to her. She's also been there in the beginning of all of my journeys. She's there, obviously, for the beginning of life. She's there for the beginning of school. She's there for the beginning of university. Then when I came to India to study Sanskrit, in that first camp that I attended by Sanskrit Bharati, she was there for that also. So those first 2 weeks, if it wasn't for her presence there, I wouldn't have survived that camp, actually. I wouldn't have made it through the camp. So her encouragement and love throughout every single journey ever has been so, I don't know how to put it. There's no way to put it. There's no way to thank one's mother, really, other than just to be who you are and be the best at what it is you do, because that's what they lived their life for, so that you could be the best at what you do. So my prostrations, my pranams, my dandavat pranams to my mother, first guru, and who continues to be my guru every day. So I'm very, very thankful that I got very lucky with my mother. Okay. So until now, we have discussed the birth of Sanskrit, the birth of dhatus, and last week, unfortunately, we had a slight mishap where the power went out and we weren't able to complete our lesson from last week. So this week I intend to get right into it, not too much of a recap. Last week was almost pure recap from the previous week, so I won't do that again this week. But suffice to say that until now, what we have seen is that the birth of a word in Sanskrit, the way in which a word comes about in Sanskrit, is by a prakriti, which is in the form of either a dhatu, that is a verbal root, or a pratipadika, which is a nominal stem. Either one of these, which are called prakriti, the birth of the word that we actually speak is a combination of this prakriti and something called a pratyaya, which we have not really explored as yet, though I have exposed you to the pratyayas for the 4 lakaras that we will be studying, which you should already have either memorized by now or be in the process of memorizing, because it'll be very handy for you in the future if those are in your head, so you can just immediately connect it to the particular thing you want to express. So the combination of prakriti and pratyaya, after going through various chemical reactions and interactions that we will explore in this class, is what makes the final word that we can speak. So last week we ended by saying that there is a prakriti and there is a pratyaya, and we started to explore the 4 different kinds of pratyayas that attach to a dhatu, because we're focusing only on dhatus in this class. And so Srijit, if you can share my screen, please. And oh, sorry, I have to do it from here also. Okay. It's happening, I swear. I see that circle that's going connecting, 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 connecting. Unable to connect. Okay, we'll try again. Trying one more time. No. Okay. Can you turn it off and turn it back on, please? Okay. It's not, it says unable to connect. So we test it every week. We test it before the class, and it works when you test it. And you just immediately press it, and it immediately comes up on the screen. And then while the thing is going on, sometimes it doesn't exactly work. So let me try one last time. Third time is, I have been told, a charm. Doesn't seem to be a charm for us right now. Okay. Fine. Unable to connect. So let me try going out of this and then trying again from here like this. The Wi-Fi appears to be connected here. Okay. Here we are. Okay, it's unable to. I got it. Phew. All right. Okay, that moment when it works and you're just about to give up. Okay. Phew. So here we have where we left off last time. We have prakriti plus pratyaya. The prakriti is divided into two types, dhatu and pratipadika. But we won't be focusing on pratipadika today, so I'm going to cross it out. Or we won't be focusing on pratipadika in this class. So I'll cross it out there. So just remember, you can do that in your own notes, cross it out. All right. Then that dhatu attaches to 4 different kinds of pratyayas, which we have now been discussing for the last 2 weeks. Sanadi pratyayas are the dhatu making pratyayas. These are the ones that connect to a dhatu, and what you get at the end is a new dhatu, which then again goes back up to that dhatu area, which connects then to the other ones again. Vikarana, which we will be talking about today. Ting pratyayas, which I introduced already 2 weeks ago. Ting pratyayas are those 18 different pratyayas that attach to a dhatu, which are the different conjugations for the verb. So that means, if you want to say prathama purusha, eka vachanam, that means third person singular, then the ting pratyaya there will be ti. So you attach bhu, for example, let bhu be your dhatu, and you attach it to ti. Ti is that ting pratyaya, okay? And there's 18 of those that attach. So ti attaches to bhu, and through some chemical reaction which we're going to start studying today, it eventually becomes bhavati. The question of how did it become bhavati? And that means how can I make bhavati from bhu, and also how can I break down bhavati into bhu and ti? That's the question of vyakarana. That's what vyakarana means. That how do I make the word and how do I break it down into its dhatu, original root, so that I can understand it. So how it became that is what we're going to start studying today. And so those are ting pratyayas. And then finally there's krit pratyayas. These are the pratyayas that make a noun out of the verb. So as an example, suppose I was to say the dhatu is bhu, okay? And there's one krit pratyaya called kta, which means, which indicates the past tense, and also the karma, or like the object of the verb. So I attach bhu and kta and I get bhuta. Bhuta. So bhuta means that which has been, or that which was, created, that dash ed form of a verb. So like for example, played, read, created, painted, etc. That ed form of the verb, when it ends in ed, that's that particular pratyaya, what I just said, kta. And that is one type of krit pratyaya. There's hundreds of krit pratyayas that indicate different meanings, different things, that make a noun out of a verb. So these are the krit pratyayas. These are the 4 types of pratyayas that attach to dhatu. Now, okay, so let's move forward. Now, okay, in this previous slide where we are here, I have mentioned that these 2 words, let me get that red pen back out. Hello, red? Yes. Okay, so here we have something called sarvadhatuka and something called ardhadhatuka. Here we have sarvadhatuka, and here we have ardhadhatuka. Come on, pen, you can do it. Yes. And then, and here's the word sarvadhatuka again. So you see this word sarvadhatuka and ardhadhatuka all over the place. And these are 2 divisions of pratyayas that attach to dhatus. All of these pratyayas can be categorized into either sarvadhatuka or ardhadhatuka. And categorizing them this way helps us to determine what the chemical reaction will be going forward. So we need to then know what is the definition of sarvadhatuka and what is the definition of ardhadhatuka. What is it that makes a pratyaya into sarvadhatuka or called as sarvadhatuka? These are technical terms, names given to different pratyayas. And what is it that makes a pratyaya into ardhadhatuka? So we come to the next slide, which is simply the definition. So I'll just tell it to you, and you can either take note of it or screenshot this or get it from the notes when I upload it on Google Drive later. So the definition of a sarvadhatuka pratyaya, okay, so here we're talking about the definition of sarvadhatuka, is this sutra. See, everything is a sutra. You want to know what's the definition of sarvadhatuka. If somebody says, oh, well, it's a pratyaya that behaves kind of like this and it's kind of like this, then you have to say, well, is there a sutra for that definition? Because if there's no sutra, then it doesn't count. So because Panini has given us the proof for everything, and the proof for any statement we make in Vyakarana is a sutra, okay? So here's the sutra for that. Oops, let's make a straighter line. No, okay, it doesn't want to make the line. There we go. The sutra is Tingshit Sarvadhatukam. So I'll say it, you repeat after me. Tingshit Sarvadhatukam.
Tingshit Sarvadhatukam.
Tingshit Sarvadhatukam.
Tingshit Sarvadhatukam.
Excellent. This sutra says that Sarvadhatukam means, that second word there, Sarvadhatukam, says, Sarvadhatukam means Tingshit. Tingshit means a pratyaya which is a ting pratyaya. Okay? So either it has to be one of the 18 ting pratyayas. And 18 ting pratyayas means any transformation of those 18 also. So that means all of those pratyayas I showed you that day with all 4 lakaras and all 18 forms of all 4, those are all ting pratyayas, 72 of those. So either it has to be a ting pratyaya, and that gets the name as Sarvadhatukam, or it has to be shit pratyaya. Now, if you remember, back in the day now, several weeks ago, we talked about one sutra, idito num dhatoho. You remember that's one of the 4 satvadi chatvari karyani. You might be thinking, oh, that's ancient history now. But you have to remember all these things, otherwise we can't build on that to make more and more stuff. So we're making castles. Hopefully the castle is being made out of bricks and not out of sand, okay? And it gets made out of brick if you do the practices every week. So if you actually do the homework, you practice what it is that I taught you, then it becomes made out of brick and not just out of sand. That's the function and the value of doing that practice. Otherwise you lose it. And who wants to lose knowledge, right? Knowledge is only knowledge so long as you keep practicing it, keep respecting it. There's a saying that the knowledge of Vyakarana, and this goes for any Shastra really, but it's particularly applied to Vyakarana. The knowledge of Vyakarana is called Pakshika Jnanam. Pakshikam. Pakshikam means that which disappears after one paksha. And a paksha is 1 fortnight. A fortnight is like 2 weeks, 15 days or so. So that knowledge which disappears after a fortnight, if you don't practice, is called Pakshika Jnanam. Jnanam means knowledge. So Pakshika Jnanam is knowledge which disappears after a fortnight. And the reasoning is that because knowledge is Saraswati. Remember, Saraswati is who we invoke before we start this class. Knowledge is represented by Saraswati. And Saraswati comes and resides in our mind, in the home that we build for her as a guest, so long as we are practicing the knowledge that she represents. Okay? So Saraswati is that knowledge. And any guest, if you neglect them, which means if you disrespect them, obviously they're going to leave. They're going to be like, what is this? I'm not welcome here. They're not actually treating me well. They're not actually respecting me. They're not actually, the hospitality is not so good in this mind. So she leaves after a week or 2 weeks if you don't practice what it is that you learned. So another thing that we learn from this is that no knowledge is truly our knowledge. There's nothing that's called as mine. It's not my knowledge, in the sense that I never created this knowledge. I've got nothing to do with this knowledge. My relationship with this knowledge is that of a host and a guest. I am the host because I have made my mind inviting for this knowledge. The knowledge has come, it resides there for some time. And if I don't practice it, then it also leaves after some time. If I do practice it, then it stays there till I die. But when I die, again, that knowledge, it was never mine to begin with. We have to have this in our mind as we study. You have to respect the knowledge because truly, it's never mine. I don't own it. It's just a guest. And that's why we can also distribute knowledge freely as well, because it's not mine anyway. It's everybody's. So, okay, anyways, back to shit, okay? This word shit, if you recall, we had that sutra, idito num dhatoho, which said that if a dhatu is idit, which means if the dhatu has a short e as it sanya, you remember those it sanyas? I hope you remember those it sanyas. If it has a short e as a it sanya and the it sanya disappears, then you have to do num agama to that, as in you have to add that little num on there. And of course, after you do the it sanya on num also, you are left with only the na and the little line under it. Just na, nothing else, no vowel. And that na then gets added to the dhatu. But remember, we asked the question, where do I add that na? Do I add it at the end of the dhatu? Do I add it at the beginning of the dhatu? Do I add it somewhere in the middle of the dhatu? And we had that sutra, mida chon tyat paraha. You remember that? Mida chon tyat paraha. That means any pratyaya which is mit, that means where ma is the it sanya. Ma is the it sanya is what mit means. Where ma is the it sanya gets attached to after the final vowel of that dhatu. So for example, if the dhatu is vadi and the e is it sanya, then it becomes vad. And then the na from numagama gets attached after the final vowel, which is a. So it becomes vand, vand. Okay? So, so here in this case, we have this word shit. Shit is the same thing as mit, but it's where sha is the it sanya. So if in your pratyaya, the sha has been given the it sanya, then that pratyaya gets known as shit. Okay, so that explanation is there. So here we have it, I've written it like this. All those pratyayas that fall within the ting pratyahara, defined above, which were those pratyayas that we talked about already, and all those pratyayas that have sha as it sanya, known as shit pratyaya, sha, it. You put those together and you get shit, okay? Pratyaya are called sarvadhatuka. So all of those pratyayas that are those ting pratyayas or shit pratyayas are called sarvadhatuka. And we'll see examples of shit pratyayas later today. And the next sutra defines Ardha Dhatuka. This is Panini's style, okay? Panini's style is, I'm only going to define one of them. And after that, everything else is the other one. I don't need to then go through all the list of all different types of pratyas and all that. Who needs to define them extra? It's just, those are the remaining ones. So, Ardha Dhatukam Sheshaha. Now, you repeat after me. Ardha Dhatukam Sheshaha.
Ardha Dhatukam Sheshaha.
Ardha Dhatukam Sheshaha.
Ardha Dhatukam Sheshaha.
This is the next sutra which says that all the remaining pratyayas that attach to dhatus are called Ardha Dhatukam. Okay, so we've got these two technical words, Sarva Dhatukam and Ardha Dhatukam, which are now clearly defined. So Sarva Dhatukam is Ting pratyayas and Shit pratyayas, and Ardha Dhatukam is all other pratyayas that attach to dhatu. That means pratyayas which are not Ting and pratyayas which are not Shit. Okay, that's all. Very easy. And so the word Sheshaha means remaining, that which remains, the rest of the. So, okay. So this sutra says everything else is called Ardha Dhatuka. All right. So now we've defined these two words. Keep these two words in your mind because they will be important eventually when we start the actual reaction that happens. Okay, so back to our little chart here. And now this is a different chart. Pratyayas that attach to dhatus can be divided into two types. Yes, we made those four types before, which were Sanadi, Vikaranam, Ting, and Krit. But there's another way to divide them, which is Sarva Dhatuka and Ardha Dhatuka. So the pratyayas that attach to dhatus are of two types. In this lesson one, level 1 webinar, we will be covering all of the Sarva Dhatuka pratyayas, not the Ardha Dhatuka pratyayas. Although their particular chemical reactions overlap in some places, we will leave Ardha Dhatuka to level 2. Okay? Now remember, if you recall, there was a place where we had used these words Sarva Dhatuka and Ardha Dhatuka before without really defining them properly. Now we've defined them properly, so let's go back and take a look. I hope you remember all these slides. Oh, this is all it sangya. Oh, where is that slide? Okay, it's not here. It's in the other. Okay, anyway, there was a slide where I listed the lakaras. You remember that? There were 4 lakaras on one side. I'm surprised that I am not finding that. Oh, here they are. Sorry, it is here. See, we've got this word Sarva Dhatuka and Ardha Dhatuka. The lakaras can be split up into two sections. There's the Sarva Dhatuka lakaras. That means, here's what it means, okay? I'm going to make it clear now. Sarva Dhatuka lakaras means those lakaras, which of course all the lakaras are replaced by these 18 Ting pratyayas, but those lakaras whose Ting pratyayas that replace them attach directly to the dhatu. So the dhatu actually directly sees the Ting pratyaya and then the reaction goes forth. That's why these ones are called Sarva Dhatuka. And the Ardha Dhatuka ones are the ones where the dhatu does not directly see the Ting pratyaya. Something else comes in the way even before you start that derivational process. Because the dhatu in these cases, in the Ardha Dhatuka cases, never sees the Ting pratyaya directly, even though the Ting pratyaya is there at the end, but the dhatu never sees it directly. So as a result, these ones are called Ardha Dhatuka lakaras. So in this level 1 webinar, we will be dealing with the Sarva Dhatuka lakaras. And level 2, we will move into Ardha Dhatuka lakaras. Yes, that means there will be level 2 and also level 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, maybe. So I hope we get that far. I hope all of you continue all the way until level 6 or 7, because by then you will know Sanskrit grammar perfectly. There won't be anything like, after that, the only stuff you have to learn is the reasoning for why a sutra is what it is and all that very technical stuff that's really philosophical and all that stuff. So at least we in our webinars will cover all of the prakriya. or the derivational process, so that you at least can break up all the words in Sanskrit ever. And you know how to, like, you have full access to Sanskrit. So in our webinars, we will cover all those things. In this level 1 webinar, we are covering the circled portion, okay? And that's a good start, because if you get these 4 down, then everything else becomes very easy. All right, so coming back to where we were. Here's our chart. Now, pratyayas can be divided into 2 types. Sarvadhatuka, that means thing and shit, and ardhadhatuka, everything else. Sarvadhatuka also can be divided into 2 types within sarvadhatuka pratyayas. That means within this array of thing pratyayas and shit pratyayas, there are also 2 types. One is called pit. Now you can even guess what this means, I think. And the other one is called apit. Again, this is Panini style. Pit means any pratyaya where pa gets the it sanya. That means where pa is at the end. And so because of halantyam, it's going to get the it sanya eventually. So any pratyaya where pa gets the it sanya, or any pratyaya where Panini explicitly says, hey, listen, I know this doesn't get the it sanya, the pa doesn't get the it sanya, but this is also going to be called pit, okay? Panini says that sometimes. So anything he explicitly names as pit, or anything which gets the pit sanya because pa gets the it sanya. Pit is also a sanya. Sanya means a name or a technical term. So pit is also a particular name that we superimpose upon a pratyaya when pa gets the it sanya. And the other type is called apit. You can also probably guess what apit means. This is, again, Panini's wonderful style. Panini's brilliant, man. His whole style is, I'm going to tell you what I want to tell you, and then everything else is just going to be not this. That's how he names things. So you have pit, which means where pa gets the it sanya, and you have apit, which means where pa does not get the it sanya. Apit. Means negation, not. So apit means where pa does not get the it sanya. So this is, and remember, when I was teaching the it sanya, I told you that the thing that gets the it sanya, that letter that gets the it sanya is going to determine our direction in the future. This is how, you can see it in action here. It determines the way in which we derive things. It determines the way in which the chemical interaction takes place. So you have pit and apit. These are 2 types of sarvadhatuka pratyayas. And even pit and apit can be divided into 2. Haladi. Adi means beginning. Like we saw sanadi and bhuadi and all that. So haladi means those pratyayas which begin with a hal, and ajadi means those which begin with an ach. And now I expect you to know what hal and ach means. I don't know. I don't know if I need to explain it more again and again and again. I hope not, but I'll do it one last time. Hal means consonants. Ach means vowels. So we also divide these pratyayas into 2 types. Those that begin with consonants, haladi, and those that begin with vowels, ajadi. So that makes 4 different types of sarvadhatuka pratyayas. Haladi pit sarvadhatuka pratyayas, ajadi pit sarvadhatuka pratyayas, haladi apit sarvadhatuka pratyayas, and ajadi apit sarvadhatuka pratyayas. That part I hope should be totally clear. And then on the other side we have ardhadhatuka, which is divided into 3 components as well. Ardhadhatuka pratyayas are divided into something called samanya. Samanya means general, all of them. And out of all of those, we take out 2 buckets full of pratyayas. The second type is called nyit or rit. Now this should be totally clear what it means. It means those pratyayas where nya is given the it sanya or na is given the it sanya. That's the second type of ardhadhatuka pratyayas. And the third type of ardhadhatuka pratyayas is kit nyit pratyayas. Kit means where ka is given the it sanya or where nga is given the it sanya. So that makes again 3 types of ardhadhatuka pratyayas. And so samanya, you can see that samanya word can also be defined like this. All those pratyayas which are not nyit, nit, kit, or ngit. Okay, so samanya is also known as yit, rit, kit, ngit, bhinna pratyayas. Bhinna means apart from. So that's another. So anyway, so these are the 3 types of ardhadhatuka pratyayas. So here we see that that makes a total of 4 sarvadhatuka and 3 types of ardhadhatuka pratyayas, which is a total of 7 different types of pratyayas that attach to dhatus. As simple as that. It's actually, if you can recognize these 7, then you know all the different types of chemical interactions that will take place. It's like learning organic chemistry, but actually easier and cooler. Well, I don't know about cooler. It's equally cool. Organic chemistry is pretty cool. I used to teach organic chemistry once upon a time. Okay, so anyways, so now here we have our 7 different kinds of pratyayas that can attach to dhatus. And these same pratyayas can be divided in 4 other ways, which we saw in the previous slide. These 4, sanadi, vikarana, ting, and krit. And all of these are divided into sarvadhatuka and ardhadhatuka. Okay? Okay, so now, before I get to that slide, now, here's what we've got. I'm going to draw it for you so that it becomes totally clear where we are at right now. We have a dhatu. Good old dhatu has been born, cleaned, ready for its debut in the world. And it goes out and it says, hey, I can't express myself. I don't know if you have ever heard, there's a song by Charles Wainwright called Express Yourself. One of the greatest songs of all time. You should listen to it if you get a chance. Express yourself. So, dhatu is trying to express itself. And it says, I'm not able to express myself because I don't have any tenses or moods. I don't have any conjugations, nothing like that. I don't have a person. I don't have a number. I don't have a lakara. I have nothing. How can I express myself? So it says, hey man, I need a lakara. And so it goes to the lakara party, and it's just mingling around, you know, and he sees one lakara, and the lakara sees him, and he says, hey, and the lakara says, hey, you need something? And he says, yeah, I need a tense. And he says, don't be so tense. I got your back. So the dhatu comes and mixes with a lakara. Now let's take the example of lut, okay? Lut is present tense, very simple, nothing too complex here. So that's why we'll start with lut. Now let's quickly do the it sangya. This should become like second nature to you now. It should be very easy to identify what gets the it sangya.
Chandra Bindu.
Yeah, there's a Chandra Bindu there, exactly. So that indicates to you that on top of which it is should get the it sangya because of upadeshe janunasika it. So goodbye. Oop. So goodbye to that there. And because of halantyam, the ta should get the it sangya. So goodbye to the ta. And we are left with la. Wait. Hello? There we go. Okay, so we're left with la. All right. So now you have dhatu plus la. Now, there is one sutra that comes here at this point. You see, as things start to happen, a chain reaction of events will take place, and you'll just suddenly end up with your final form, and you'll be like, whoa, how did that happen? I didn't even notice. It was so cool. And the dhatu is like, oh my God, now I have a tense, now I have a I have everything, I can now express myself. So that chain reaction starts now. There is one sutra that comes here called lasya. Lasya. And this is 3.4.77. Eventually all these things will be in your head also, and that'll be awesome. Lasya. This sutra comes in and it says that la which is left at the end is going to be replaced by something. So lasya here, this word, is actually the what's called as the genitive case, or the sixth declension of this noun called la. Lasya. Lasya means of the la. Of the la means la will be replaced by something. In Panini's grammar, when he uses this particular case for words, then it means that thing is going to be the location of our action. It's going to be replaced by something. So lasya, this is our first little reactive sutra. It comes in and says, hey, I see that la is alone there. La, this is a la police. It comes in and says, la, you can't be alone like that with this dhatu. And la is like, well, I didn't do anything wrong. And he says, where's your guardians? And la says, you mean and ta? Oh, they got it sangya. They're gone now. I'm alone. And so lasya says, you can't be alone. You have to be replaced. And so the la gets replaced by something. What does it get replaced by? 3.4.78. 3.4.78 is the sutra. Tiptas ji siptas tha mipvasmas ta atam jha thas atam dvam idvahi mahing. Remember that? We saw these. When I say this now, that should kind of flash in your head a little bit. That is those 18 thing pratyayas. So it says, hey, la, you're going to be replaced by these 18 thing pratyayas now. And so la says, oh man, my role is over. He says, yeah, your role is over. You were just there to facilitate the insertion of the 18 thing pratyayas. Now they're going to come. And so la gets replaced. Now, let's say that la is replaced based on our desire to speak in third person singular, that la is replaced by ti. Okay? Simple. That la is replaced by ti, which was actually originally tip, all right? And that pa got the it sangya, so it remains as ti only. And because pa got the it sangya, it's called pit. Okay? Whichever one gets, where the pa gets the it sangya, it's called pit. Or if Panini explicitly says, hey, this one, even though I know the pa is not getting the it sangya, but you're going to call it pit anyway for the sake of the coming reaction that has to take place. So ti, very clearly pit. There's nothing so mysterious about that. So there's ti right here without the pa. Now this is a ting pratyaya, right? So we have defined it as a sarva dhatuka pratyaya because it's a ting pratyaya. Remember our definition from the previous page. All those pratyayas which are ting or shit are called sarva dhatuka. So this one is of the ting variety, and so it's called sarva dhatuka. And sarva dhatuka can be broken up into pit and apit, here we see. So it's called pit. And now that dhatu, this dhatu is directly going to see this pit pratyaya. I mean this ti, okay? This is where we're at so far. Dhatu plus ti. Now the question is, what happens here? How is it that all those reactions take place to finally get us to our final thing? So for example, if our dhatu was, say, bhu, like we've been seeing, then this is just bhu plus ti. But we know that the final form is not bhuti. It's going to be bhavati, which means he or she or it is or becomes. So how does that happen? How does it actually finally get transformed into bhavati? So that's where we come to our next step. See, the series of reactions is going to start now. So that's all I'm teaching you. Once you learn the series of reactions, there's nothing more to learn. Then you just kind of, you start at any starting point and you just follow it to the end and you know what the word is going to be. So here we have dhatu plus ti. As soon as a dhatu comes directly into contact with a sarva dhatuka pratyaya, something takes place, something happens. What is it that happens? We see in the next slide. Sarva dhatuke yak. Now that sarva dhatuke, that word indicates, when you get this a at the end, okay, that's called as the seventh case of a noun, or the locative case of the noun. Any noun in Panini's grammar which is in the locative case, like sarva dhatuke, is, you can translate it something like this. when followed by. Okay, that's the best way to translate it in English. When followed by that thing. So in this case, it means when followed by the sarvadhatuka pratyaya, okay, something's gonna happen. Now don't worry about this yak for now. So here we have when followed by a sarvadhatuka pratyaya, that means when directly followed by a sarvadhatuka pratyaya, which has happened for the first time here in our example, dhatu plus ti. What's gonna happen? Now we come to our next sutra. The next sutra says, and this is, by the way, this is 3.1.67 and 68. So sarvadhatuke yak says when followed by a sarvadhatuka pratyaya, then something's going to happen. And now 68 here says kartari shap. So kartari, the word kartari means in the active voice. Karta, the word karta means the actor, the agent of the sentence. You know, when you have subject, object, verb, all that stuff, the subject of the sentence, the one who's doing the action. So when the dhatu is expressing what the agent is doing, and we're taking this sarvadhatuke word as the anuvritti into the next sutra, okay, remember this anuvritti concept. When in the active voice, okay, that is indicating what the actor is doing, what the agent is doing, that's what active voice means. When followed by any sarvadhatuka pratyaya, then you get this pratyaya called shap, which lands in between the dhatu and the pratyaya. Okay? And this shap here, this wily little thing, is called a vikaranam. Remember that word vikarana that we kind of left behind, and I was like, we'll talk about it today. That's this thing. This is one example of a vikarana. And now our vikarana section begins, where we list out all of the different vikaranas that are going to take place in our grammar. Okay? So let's recap. Let me explain again what it's saying. When the dhatu, so here's our situation right here at the bottom of the screen. When the dhatu is followed by a sarvadhatuka pratyaya, which is this pratyaya right here, then you get this thing which kind of comes and lands in between the two called shap. Okay, that's one example of a vikarana. This is one type of vikarana pratyaya. So let's go back to this slide here. Look at this. This is called a vikarana right here. That which falls between a dhatu and a sarvadhatuka pratyaya is called a vikaranam. Okay? So in Sanskrit, the way they say it is, dhatu pratyayayor madhye yat patati tat vikaranam. That which falls, literally they use the word falls. That which falls between a dhatu and a pratyaya is called vikaranam. In our case, it's going to be that which falls between a dhatu and a sarvadhatuka pratyaya for now. We'll study more later. But we're only studying sarvadhatuka pratyaya, so that's what we're dealing with. So here we got dhatu plus sarvadhatuka pratyaya. And so in between that, a vikaranam is going to fall. You're going to have some vikaranam or another. So which vikaranam is it? That's going to be determined by the sutras that we're now studying. So, okay, we have a little time, so I'll continue with this. Now, if you have that Ashtadhyayi book, okay, if you have that Ashtadhyayi book with you, then you can open it to page 55. I mean, I'm showing you what's on that page, so you don't need to worry if you're not opening it. I mean, if you don't have it or can't open it or whatever. But in case you do have it and you ordered that book and everything and it's with you, you can, if you open it to page 55, everything is laid out in front of you. So on page 55 of that book, which is the third chapter, first pada, okay? That is the first quarter of the third chapter of the Ashtadhyayi. We're looking at sutra numbers 67 and 68 right now, okay? So that you should see on your screen. So there you've got that Kartari Shap. Now Kartari Shap is the sutra from which this section begins, really. And it's going to go all the way to the end of this page, to number 82. So we're going to study all these sutras from now until we get to 82. It's as simple as that. We'll just go through them one by one. And it's actually very simple what happens, but this is the best place for you to kind of see how Panini uses sutras and how he's ridiculously brilliant at using them. Okay? All right. So here you have Shap, which is the first Vikarana that we see. Shap is also a pratyaya. A Vikaranam is also a type of pratyaya. So let's do it sanya on this Shap pratyaya. So let me remove this word here so that we can get some space. So here we've got Shap. So to do the it sanya, we have to first, what do we have to do? We have to break it up. Sh, oh man, there we go. So what gets the it sanya? Because of the sutra halantyam, pa is going to get the it sanya. And because of the sutra, anybody remember? This is your chance to remember as you're watching. Okay, those who remember what sutra this is, please raise your hand. What sutra applies now? If you know, raise your hand. Yes, we have so many good students. Thank you. Thank you all. When students are actually following and they get stuff and they know stuff, then it's the greatest joy for a teacher. I'm so proud. Okay, so that means that you know that the next sutra that's going to apply is Lashakva Tadhite, Lashakva Tadhite. And that sutra is going to take away this sh here, okay? And so we're left with only ha. Now, because the sh was taken away, this becomes known as you guys? It becomes known as a shit pratyaya. Because sh got that it sanya, so this pratyaya here, shap, is known as shit. And because it's known as shit, therefore it is also named as sarvadhatuka. Exactly. Okay. Okay. Okay, you guys are following. Good. I hope you are also following. Because it has sh as the it sanya, it's called as shit. That's quite simple. And because it's shit, due to the sutra, ting shit sarvadhatukam, which we just saw, this pratyaya is also known as sarvadhatukam. And it's a sarvadhatuka pratyaya where pa gets the it sanya. You see that pa at the end there that gets the it sanya? Where pa gets the it sanya, and therefore it's also known as pit. Exactly. So this is a pit sarvadhatuka pratyaya. Now within pit also you have a division haladi and ajadi. So which one is this? It's ajadi. And you determine whether it's haladi or ajadi after you have done the it sanya, okay? So what's left here is this and that definitely begins with a vowel only. Therefore, it's called as ajadi. Remember, after the it sanya, you determine haladi or ajadi. So this is ajadi pit sarvadhatuka pratyaya. The recognition of the pratyaya, what kind of pratyaya it is 90% of the battle when it comes to determining what steps come afterwards. Actually, it's 100% of the battle for determining what steps come in, but it's 90% of the battle in terms of actually finishing the work. So we're going to spend quite a bit of time, hopefully, on recognizing the pratyaya. What kind of pratyaya is it? So when I show you a pratyaya that attaches to a dhatu, you have to be able to recognize, Is it sarvadhatuka or ardhadhatuka? If it is sarvadhatuka, is it pit or is it apit? If it is pit or apit, is it ajadi or haladi? Okay, so that you're going to have to start to recognize. And this goes for any pratyaya that attaches to a dhatu. And if it's ardhadhatuka, is it samanya? Is it yit? Is it yit nit pratyaya or is it kit nit pratyaya? That all stuff you have to start to recognize. Okay, I've given you the definitions. Not much more I can do for you other than give you a bunch of pratyas for you to practice, which I will do in the homework this week. Recognition practice is extremely important. So here we have our first vikaranam. Okay, so what happens to this a? It goes and it lodges itself between the dhatu and the pratyaya. So let's say, for example, our dhatu is pat. For example, just say. And ti is our pratyaya that we're working with, our ting pratyaya. That means third person singular. As soon as pat sees ti, okay, they make eye contact and they're just like staring at each other. And then shap comes in the middle and says, whoa, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? And so comes and sits in the middle here. Pause for effect. And then what you are left with in the end is, come on, work, yes. I guess this iPad has seen better days. And what you're left with at the end is pathati. Pathati. So pathati is the final form. That's all. That's what you got. So we got pathati. And every single one of these ting pratyayas that you've got in lat lakara, let's say, and in fact in all of these 4 lakaras are going to look like this. That's it. That's all. We're done. This is week 11. So you got pathati. Now you attach that same patha that you've got to all the other ones. Taha, anti, si, thaha, tha, mi, vaha, maha. You got pathati, pathataha, pathanti, pathasi, pathathaha, pathatha. And then there's going to be one slight transformation that's going to make pathami, pathavaha, pathamaha. But that's all. It's so like we're already at the end. Yay! But then you must be asking the question, wait a second, it's not so simple. For pathati, yes it is. But what about, you got bhu over here. Bhu plus plus ti, the same thing we just did here. Okay? That becomes bhuati. And I thought you said that's bhavati. So how did this bhuati become bhavati? This is a product of those chemical reactions I was telling you about. The things that actually react. Now, pat-ati, there's not really any reaction that takes place except for this kind of chain thing that happened. And you get patati. But with bhu-ati, we're going to get those reactions, okay? So we have to also identify the reactive component of these dhatus. Pat does not have a reactive component, so nothing really happens here. But bhu does have a reactive component, which is that oo. So we're going to have to change it a little bit. So that we will see in the coming weeks. Now it's 10 o'clock, so we'll end here. But this is our first vikarana. I'm so happy we got here at least. And shap is going to come in the middle between a dhatu and a pratyaya. So far, I'm telling you this much. Next week, I will tell you more, and we'll finish the vikarana section next week. But shap is one pratyaya. It's a vikaranam, which is going to come and sit in between the dhatu and the pratyaya. And a sarva dhatuka pratyaya, okay? Between a dhatu and a sarva dhatuka pratyaya. How do we know that? Because of this word here, sarva dhatuke. Because of that word, we know that it's going to have to be in between a dhatu and a sarva dhatuka pratyaya, okay? And that thing comes and sits there, and you get that little and you get patati. And eventually we'll also get bhavati and nayati and jayati and so many different verbs. Okay, so we'll start making those next week. We'll get to vikaranas, and there are many more vikaranas that attach to different dhatus also, which we have to finally see how that works. So that we will get to next week. How this chain react, this actual chemical reaction takes place, how it starts, we saw today, and we're going to see more about what happens next week. And so stay tuned. Okay, so that's it for now. Let me see if there's some questions. I'm not sure if people asked. We'll take us just a sec to just see them. Okay. Okay, keep going, just go down. Could you please explain the same using bhu dhatu? How does bhu ati bhavati, is it related to? Somebody asked the question as I was teaching it, I guess. So that's good. Can you please give us more examples to work with? Yes, I'll give you lots and lots of examples. Okay, all right. I'll give you more examples, don't worry. Today I cannot give you those examples immediately. Solutions for week 9, I don't think we had anything to have solutions for. If we did, I'll put the solutions up, but I don't think, now that I'm thinking about that homework, it was really just to start remembering those pratyayas. It wasn't actually something that I can give you solutions for. Okay, so as we're going along, I'll teach you how to interpret the sutras. That's what I'm doing. So don't worry, it'll all come. Okay, wonderful. So I'm glad that we got this far. Next week we'll finish the Vikarana section, and then we'll move on. Okay, so there's these steps that we're going through. First step was name the dhatu. Once the dhatu is named, second step is do its sanya. Once the its sanya is done, third step is do the satvadi chatvari karyani to finish the preparation of the dhatu. Once satvadi chatvari karyani are done, attach the lakara. Once the lakara is attached, remove the lakara and attach in its place the ting pratyayas. Once the ting pratyayas are attached, again, and only one of those you can choose at a time. So once you choose one of those, again you do it sanya. You're going to do it sanya after every step, by the way. It sanya comes every time anything is given by Panini. You do it sanya. Once that it sanya is done, you attach the vikaranam. Once the vikaranam is attached, then we'll keep going. So we got to vikaranam right now. We'll finish vikaranam step next week, and then we'll keep going. There's still a few steps before we're finally done. So let's hope that but now we're making good progress, so I'm very happy. So okay, let us now conclude. I hope you all had a very wonderful Earth Day. Although we should not have only one day to remember the Earth. Every day we should remember the Earth and thank her for everything she has given us, which includes life actually, and we should be working to protect her. Right now there's so many forces that are working to destroy her, and so we have to really become aware of them and work against them so that we can actually save the Earth. So Earth Day is a nice time to remember that. Okay, so we will conclude for now. And as we now chant this, because last week we went through the meaning of Om Purnamada Purnamidam. So as we chant this, you keep the meaning in your head also. And when you keep the meaning in your head, it's 1,000,000,000 times more powerful than if you just chant it without knowing the meaning. So here we go. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you everyone. Hari Om. See you next week.